Welcome to another channel update. My name is Nilaus and I do these kind of channel updates every month just to sort of touch base with you, share some of the insights, some of the thoughts I have about the content creation, give you an opportunity to sort of look behind the veil and see what's actually going on inside this weird mind and what are the plans sort of both content wise here on YouTube and Twitch, but also sort of philosophy wise in terms of how things are going. And boy, do I have some big thoughts today. So let's dive into those. It's been almost 3 years since I went full-time as a content creator. Of course, I've been doing it for a few more years, but almost 3 years as full-time, that's quite a lot. And it's a good time to start being a bit reflective on what's going on and how we're doing. So it's not just in this job, but it gets in any job. It's valuable sort of after 2 to 3 years, or then start evaluating, what am I doing? Am I progressing? Am I regressing? Am I evolving? Am I devolving? Or am I just on autopilot, just cruising along and waiting for retirement? Yeah, well, that's it's very important to do that. It was actually that kind of reflection that got me to realize that my previous career as IT manager was not fulfilling and that I needed to do something else. So here we are again, 3 years later, and looking at what I have achieved and where I am now. Actually, we're not going to be looking back. We're going to look forward and just kind of see what are we going to do now. If everything is just trending upwards and going great, then it might not be so necessary to ask yourself that question. You just give yourself a pat on the back and keep on cruising. But if things are not going so well, then it is even more important to stop, reassess, ask yourself the tough questions, and also try to answer them, not just ask the questions. And to be honest, that is unfortunately the state of the nation here as it is now. Things are not going well for me as a content creator, and that gives some time to reflect, and forces me to do some reflection. On YouTube, things are not trending upwards. They are at best sort of staying even, and it's also trending downwards. Nothing has happened since the Dyson Sphere program this spring, or this in January. That gave a nice little boost to viewers and views and stuff like that, but then it's sort of fallen down to the same level again, and now it's even just regressing even further. And that's not good. It's not just about the subscriber count, because just by the nature of things, people tend to subscribe, but they don't necessarily tend to unsubscribe when they move on to other things, because YouTube algorithm will just stop recommending. So basically, even though there will be an increase of subscribers, that doesn't really tell anything about sort of the current sort of health of the channel. It's more about the daily, monthly views, and those are pretty stable over the last many months. And that's not good, because if you are not growing on YouTube, then you are slowly fading into irrelevance, and that's not good. Twitch, it's the same story. Views are down, and subscribers are down quite dramatically. And of course, a big part of it is the fact that we are not streaming Factorio anymore. The news of the Satisfactory release was pretty good, but also instead again, we need to be able to move forward, and that's not so good that it's regressing on Twitch as well. If one was going good and the other one's going bad, then you could just go well, it's just the same people moving over, but that's not the case. Likewise, and lastly, also on Patreon, there are more cancellations than there are new patrons supporting. So again, that is yet another sort of indicator that things are not going very well. Now, this is all just a bit of a depressing setting, but I think it's important to sort of give the context, because my role in this as a content creator, I'm not saying this is harder than anything else. It is to a very large extent a very easy job, but there are some elements here that are the same for anyone who is a business owner yourself. The fact that, well, I am a business owner, so everything I do here is the only way that I can sort of run my business. And that means there's no job security, there is no pension, there's no retirement, there's no anything like that. It's all just what I put in, I get back. And if I get something back that's less than satisfactory, then that must be because what I put into it is not good enough. And that's basically the reflection of it, because that's how it works. You get immediate feedback on what you do, and then it's about processing it and figuring out what are just the natural trends and what are the things that you're doing wrong, and that's the difficult part. But it also means that every single second of every single hour of every single day, you kind of get into the habit of just always thinking like, okay, the next video, this is going to be great. Okay, I think I really got it. And then you put it out there and it just absolutely tanks, and you go like, why am I doing it wrong? What am I doing wrong? I don't know what I can do. And it's super, super frustrating, and it's extremely stressful because it's what I do. And that's been sort of happening for a few months, and it's honestly quite stressful. It is really difficult because people are very quick at telling you you suck, or this is bad, or anything else. And I know that we know that even if there's 99% supportive and positive comments, it's the 1% that stings, and that's unfortunately just the way that that it works. You kind of hear that, well, that's because you do this wrong, and they go like, really, is that it? But even though it's just a random comment, and there are lots of supportive comments, so thank you for that. So after this lengthy preamble with laying out the situation and giving you sort of the honest view about what's going on, this is kind of what I want to do, giving a bit of the personal space, give you then insight into that. Then I have to ask a question: why the hell do I keep doing this, and should I be doing something else instead? That's a tough question, and I think it's an important question, because when I actually started asking that question to myself, it became abundantly clear that there was a very clear answer to it. This is the best job I've ever had, and I absolutely love doing it. And the part I love doing is the fact that I can get into sort of a topic that I love, a game that I love, and I can sort of dissect it. I can put it together, make some cool designs, discover some things, present some things, teach it for you in either in Twitch chat or here on YouTube as showcases, tutorials, let's plays, all these things. I love that. And that is actually independent of sort of the actual views. That it is not, I don't get the thrill from the views. Of course, not kidding myself, of course views help, but that's because it's a necessity. It's not because it is the thing that gives me the rush. The rush is just getting it out there and seeing the appreciation, and the appreciation is not sort of, it's more the qualitative appreciation than it is the quantitative appreciation that I really enjoy it. Like when you find something and you do something and it's awesome and it's well received and people like it, it's awesome. Or we have a good chat in our live streams and we just forget about the game for a bit and just have a good chat about some weird off-topic thing and then go back to the actual game. I love that. That's what I love. And of course also the fact that this is an extremely flexible job, that I can take days off when I want without asking anyone. I can shuffle around the work I do, and I have more time with the kids, and I really enjoy it, and I don't sort of get super stressed from it, except that that's kind of started happening. So that's why it was so important for me to ask a question: why are you doing this? Should you keep doing it? And the answer to that is yes, you absolutely have to keep doing it, because it's the best thing you've ever done. So relax, I want to continue doing this. There is always a but to these kind of realizations here, because this leads me to a realization in terms of sort of, okay, if you love the act of being a content creator, then there are some things that you need to worry about, and some things that you don't need to worry about. So one of the things is, if I love doing what I do, then if I have to start doing things that I don't love doing, then it's going to take away from the joy of the work. Also, I'm not very good at being fake enthusiastic about things, so I don't think I even could, even if I wanted to. So from that perspective, I need to be sure that I don't sort of succumb to chasing the trends. It's very obvious right now that the content that is more dominant on YouTube is the silly meme, short form, irrelevant stuff, and that's just not me. And I've been sort of thinking about like, oh, should I also do this stuff, and just like throwing things out and being silly. And I was like, no, that's not me. And even if I could get twice the audience, I would I would not be true to myself. I would not be doing something I love. And I also think that the core audience who have been following me for who I am and what I do would not be particularly happy about sort of me transitioning to being silly, goofy things just for chasing the views and being the classical overhyped YouTuber. Don't want to be it. Don't want to do that. But it will have some consequences. And that, of course, is in terms of growth. Now, another thing is, I should also stop looking at other content creators because I am not in the same situation, right? So what is my objective with what I do? Well, I want to be able to make a comfortable living doing stuff that I like or love even. That's not the same priority that a lot of YouTubers have. A lot of YouTubers, content creators have this infinite growth cycle. I want to be the next big thing. I want to just keep growing, keep getting there. And that's not, I don't need this. And it's been talked about in my Twitch chat that it's awesome that we're 300-400 people in chat. It's super amazing. And the chat is moving. But if there were like 1,000 people there, I wouldn't be able to either I would be missing half the chat, or I would be missing the game entirely and it would be just chatting. So I think there's also that point to the fact that maybe growth isn't actually something that would benefit, because it would not really work very well necessarily for what I want to achieve, and it would be a different way and it would be a different format. So I have to remember that I should not compare myself to someone who is chasing growth for the sake of growth or chasing fame for the sake of fame. None of those have any interest for me. I want to make this a nice space where I can do what I love, and there are enough people interested and engaged with it that I can keep doing this. So that is really important to sort of take that mindset, because we did the conclusion that I love doing what I do, then I should be doing what I love, and then make sure that I don't sort of compare myself to people who have other objectives. Really important sort of conclusions, I think, to this situation I'm in. So following on for this and being a bit more specific, what you can expect on YouTube and Twitch for the upcoming in terms of this. First of all, it means that I will be focusing more on things that I enjoy making and less on sort of chasing the flavor of the month. There have been some flavors of the month that I have missed, and I think that's the right thing to do, even though it was, instead of playing the new shiny game, then I played a 5-year-old game. But I had like one of my best gaming experiences of late with playing Dark Souls 3. So I don't regret it from a gaming perspective, and that's kind of where I have to do. I have to be true to what I want to do, even to the detriment of my YouTube channel, because that's unfortunately how it works here on YouTube. If I have basically my videos give, let's say, around 10,000 views within a day or two, then if I release some videos that get like 1,000 views within the same thing, then the YouTube algorithm will start degrading my channel because of that, and just going like, okay, so it's not like this is not a 10,000 views per day per video channel. This is more of a 4,000, 5,000, and that means my videos, even the Factorio or Satisfactory videos, will only be shown to fewer of you in your recommended feeds, and that means that you are actually going to miss some of my videos. I can see that very clearly. My Satisfactory videos have the same click-through rate, but a lot less views, which to me means that they are being shown to fewer people, because it's the same amount of people who click through when they get presented. It must be simply because they are being presented to fewer people. There are simply fewer people who get to see, hey, there is this video about Turbo Fuel Power Tower, and they will never see it. And maybe you are missing something as well. So that's why we YouTubers say, hit the notification bell so you can get updated with anything that comes along. It's the way it is, or checking back on my channel to see if you're missing anything. I do upload a lot of times, so there will also be things that are not relevant for you. And this is where it comes back to what I want to do. There will be like 2 categories basically of what I do want to do in this coming period. And there will be our factory games, our base building games, Factorio, Satisfactory, Dyson Sphere Program, but also Oxygen not included, Valheim, those kind of things. That will be sort of, we build awesome bases, and we spent 100+ hours in a game like that. And then there are more of the action RPGs, the Souls games, the Bloodborne, the Sekiro, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, that kind of game. That will be the same both on YouTube and Twitch, that I'll be splitting my time between those. And I will also be creating more content than most of you want to consume, and that's fine. because you might not be interested in all the games. If you're only interested in Factorio, hey, there's 2 Factorio videos for you every week. If you're only interested in Satisfactory, there's a couple of more there. If you kind of have started losing a bit of interest in Factorio, but that was what brought you here, well, check out some of the other cool stuff I do. Or if you're hanging out on Twitch and maybe I'm not streaming like exactly the game that you want, hang out and see if it's not something that could sort of appeal to you. I think that my playthrough of Dark Souls 3, I've gotten so many comments about, oh, I really want to replay the game, or this looks so good, or I want to play this game now, or I don't want to play this game, but it's super cool to see someone play it because this is not a kind of game that I would want to play. You know, all this feedback is just super amazing for me because it really means that what I do is it's bringing value and it's bringing entertainment to you. So that's what's going to continue. This brings me to the last part of this section here. This is about sort of, I've just said that I'm going to be making YouTube videos that are not good for my YouTube channel. I've just said I'm going to be streaming things that are not going to get me a lot of new viewers. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? And that's why I'm really looking heavily and leaning upon Patreon, because Patreon is for the people who enjoy the channel and the work I do here, and you want to do something more, that you want to like and subscribe, and you feel in the Christmas spirit mood or whatever. And that's the part where, for example, an annual pledge gives me some kind of continuity about, okay, this is someone who likes what I do and wants to support it through the highs and lows of the YouTube algorithm as we are trying new things, as we are going into new genres and exploring that and coming back and that kind of thing. So this is my big thanks to all of the Patreon supporters, because honestly, Patreon is the main source of income on the channel, and it is the part that really sort of drives what we're doing here. YouTube is good, Twitch is good, but Patreon is the key one. And I think it's because you might feel that I'm mentioning it a lot of the time, but I think it's so important. It's so important for me that I want to make sure that you know it. You can ignore it, you can skip forward if you are not tired of hearing about it, but I don't do my ad integrations. I say no to sponsorships, but I do rely very heavily on Patreon because that's the way that I can sort of get a direct communication or direct sort of support from the community. So I really appreciate that, and I'm deep. It is really why I can decouple myself a bit more from the algorithm here on YouTube, because I have you wonderful patrons. So just want to thank you, and also just mention it so that if you want to support, that is the best way to support the channel moving forward. Let's talk a bit about games, but before we do that, then let me mention that I mentioned Twitch a lot because I'm live streaming almost every night. It's at 8 p.m. Central European Time, and it's on Twitch TV/Nilaus. But maybe you're not maybe you don't like Twitch. Maybe you don't have the time to sit through a 4-hour stream. Maybe you don't have the time zone availability for you to do that. It's okay. I understand it. Because of that, I take all of the VODs, basically the video after that, the 4-hour video, and I move it here to YouTube. Not to this channel, because it would be flooding it with videos with no views, but I have a second YouTube channel. It's called Nilaus TV, and if you're at all interested in some of the games that don't really make it to YouTube, for example, my Dark Souls Let's Play that I've been doing over on Twitch, if you want to watch that, then you can do that. You can even just scrub the part that you don't like. Maybe you don't like the fact that when there's a hype train, there's a 20-minute distractions of that. Just scrub over it. Maybe you don't want to watch me die for half an hour to the same boss. You just scrub over it. So that means you can enjoy the live stream content at your own leisure whenever you want. And the only thing is that if you yell at the screen, it won't really affect my playthrough. So that's something that I wanted to mention, because it seems like there's still a lot of people who don't know that I have this second channel. There's only 5,000 subscribers, so I think that there's also a lot of people. I mean, you don't need to subscribe to that because you don't need updates about I upload a new VOD, but do check it out once in a while to see if there's any VODs for games that I may have talked about but not really showcased. Now let's talk about games. Satisfactory, love it. Update 5 is it's the best update of the game. I'm having so much fun. I'm doing some really cool designs. I hope you are checking out the YouTube videos from it. I really love the way that I'm integrating it with Twitch and YouTube, that I'm playing the whole game on Twitch and then taking interesting designs and bringing them here to YouTube. So of course it won't be a play along here on YouTube, and it was never intended to be a play along. It's supposed to be a showcase of cool designs, of concepts, tutorials, guides, that kind of thing. And if you want sort of the whole part of being part of the design process, then that works way better on Twitch. So that's how I want to do it. That's how I'm going to do most of my games moving forward, the very long form games where it takes a lot of time of chopping trees or whatever it is. And that's something that belongs on Twitch. And then we can do so the highlights, the designs, the tutorials here on YouTube, because that just fits better. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be making Let's Plays, but Let's Plays, most of the Let's Plays of the games that I enjoy are simply too long to include here on YouTube. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, we want to see it. Yeah, but you don't actually want to watch it. It's the same with my mega base in a book. There, I spent 3 hours sometimes on setting up new steel deposits. You don't want to watch that. You might think you want to, but in the end, I would not be uploading 6 episodes in a row that just goes like more steel 1, more steel 2, more steel 3, because it's not relevant. And that means that's some of the things that I will do in live stream, because we can talk about other things and we can get distracted and we can have fun and we can do that. But it doesn't belong on YouTube. That has to be more crisp. And I like that. So that's how I'm going to do for all my games. We transitioned into Factorio. Factorio Mega Base in a Book is continuing because of the amazing support on Patreon. And it will be continuing into next year. I don't have any plans for other Factorio content. No silly 1-minute tutorials. No live streams. I am getting desperate for announcement about the expansion. It's been 1.5 years now since the release and we've heard nothing. I don't think it should take 1.5 years for them to build the expansion. I don't really understand why we're not hearing anything. I think it's kind of forgotten. And because of that, I'm just dialing down my Factorio content to match it. When we hear something about the expansion, it's going to be absolutely amazing and we'll be all over that part, and hopefully it'll give a nice little boost to the channel. So that'll be something we'll wait for, but we have lots of other things interesting before that. Mentioned shortly Darkest Dungeon 2. I played it, I loved it, and it doesn't have much content. So it's going to be one of those games that I'm going to be coming back to once in a while when there's new content, playing a bit. I think it's a good game, but I think it's very easy to exhaust it. And I don't want to be exhausting it. I want to just play it a bit, and because it's more of a roguelike, then it lends itself to not playing it as a campaign or a long continuous story. So we'll have that once in a while when there's something new and exciting to go, but it's not going to be a staple of the channel, unfortunately. It just doesn't seem to have that draw that the first game did. Dark Souls 3 just completed the base game and the 2 DLCs over on Twitch. I'm doing some experimentation here on YouTube with some shorts. I'm doing this because I think it's really fun to make it. I don't do it because I think it's the most viral content ever created, but I think it's really fun to do it. It's also about me showing to you that, hey, I'm good at these games and I have something to offer, so that when we come to Elden Ring, which will be a massive release for everyone, then hopefully you will watch the content on my channel, because you know that maybe you like my style, plus you know that I know how to play this kind of game. So that's why I'm doing it, and maybe we'll even get some more people in just for that, if we do some kind of more short tutorials and guides for these kind of games. So Dark Souls 3 has been an amazing game experience. I want to continue with other Souls game. I might replay Sekiro. I'm probably going to replay Bloodborne because the VODs are not there anymore. And of course, God of War is coming to PC. I just lumped God of War in with the Souls games. I know that it's not, but it's kind of the same-ish in a way. It's an action RPG. Anyway, God of War comes to PC on 14th of January, so that's definitely something we're going to do. We're going to do guides for it as well, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm sure of it. And of course, I mentioned it, Elden Ring is going to be the biggest release. I'm so hyped for it. Unfortunately, I was also hyped for Cyberpunk 2077. It turned out not to be the thing, but everything we've seen from Elden Ring and the fact that I've been playing it for 15 hours has shown me that it looks great. The only part is like, is it too small? How big is that game and how much can we throw ourselves at it again and again? I'm just looking forward to it. other interesting games that are coming out at the start of the year is Total War Warhammer 3. It comes out a week before Elden Ring, so it would be... I'd like to play it, but unfortunately I'm probably not going to have much time for it. Horizons Forbidden West, unless it gets delayed, it's also coming out sometime as Elden Ring, and that means I'm completely ignoring it until I'm done with Elden Ring, because there's nothing as more important than Elden Ring in the start of the year. That's just the way it is. Then there are some other games like Captain of Industry. If they would just do a new trailer, I would absolutely play the hell out of that game. But I can't do it with the current trailer they have. It's just too cringe. But it's one of those games that I think has potential, and it's something I'd like to try. There are also other games like Astro Colony, and I mean, for example, Dyson Sphere Program came out of the nowhere last time about in the start of the year. So yeah, maybe there'll be a new Dyson Sphere Program, or maybe there'll be more releases for that. Definitely lots of things to come. This is just some of the things that I know about. But what you can see is that there's a lot of stuff on the horizon, lots of new and lots of classics, I think, for the channel. So I hope that you want to be part of the journey moving forward and either be here on YouTube or maybe come on over to Twitch, or now that you know, also you can watch the Twitch VODs. If you want to sort of hang out, then I have a Discord channel. This is also where you can see like the streaming schedule, and you can discuss things about, hey, why the hell did he do that thing with the trains? All that kind of thing with other like-minded spirits. That's it for this update. Thank you very much for watching and making it all the way to the end. Be sure to, hit the like and subscribe, all that good stuff. But I doubt that anyone's watching this video who isn't subscribed already. Anyone? You? Anyone? Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care and stay effective.